So, Shanks' brother has finally been revealed at the end of chapter 1137, and this is what he looks like. We're also getting his name and title, and it's Figureland Shamrock, and he is the current leader of the Holy Knights. It's also confirmed here that he is in fact the son of Figureland Garling, aka Saint Garling, because he recently just got promoted to becoming a Gorosei after Saturn had failed on Egghead and Emu hit him with the Ashwallen. And since Garling got promoted, I guess this means that his son Shamrock did as well, and now he is the leader since Garling was previously. So I think this finally connects all of the dots, something that we've been talking about for many months now, maybe even years at this point. And I know that there was a bunch of niche theories in the Japanese community for many years, but it's that, Shanks is a part of this family because, this guy looks like Shanks. He looks identical to him. Now, granted, he does have aesthetic differences, such as his uniform, which resembles more of what we saw Garling wearing back in the God Valley flashback. But Shamrock has like this 16th or 17th century English or French military jacket. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what this is supposed to be. And he also has long hair, and it's kind of braided, similar to what King had, I guess, but I guess this is just supposed to make him look more regal. And of course, he has both of his arms. I doubt Shamrock was trying to save a kid from a Sea King back in the day the way that Shanks did, which led to his arm being lost. And fun little fact about that, it wasn't supposed to happen like that, I suppose. I think Oda's editor back in the day suggested to him that Shanks loses an arm in that sequence. I don't know, to up the stakes and make it more emotional or something. And I guess it worked, at least for us at the time in the audience. But nowadays, it just obviously doesn't make sense because Shanks is so unbelievably powerful that there's no way a Sea King would be able to do anything to him. But I digress. Speaking of that power, it also finally makes sense why Shanks is that powerful, because he's the freaking son of Garling. And Garling, like we've been talking about, is a current Gorosei member, but was also the leader of the Holy Knights. And judging by the flashback at God Valley, I think he might have fought against the Roger pirates, maybe even Roger himself. We don't really see it, but it's kind of implied. No way to know what happened unless we see it later on, or it's going to be talked about again, but we can just assume that Garling is likely on that tier of power that guys like Roger, Garp, Whitebeard, and Rox were on back in the day. No way to know for sure who is stronger or whatever, but makes sense that Shanks, being that guy's son and being raised by the freaking Pirate King and trained by him, wound up becoming the current pound for pound number one in the series, at least in my opinion. I mean, I'm sure Emu is way stronger than him, but we just don't know yet. So that being said, does it mean that Shamrock here is just as strong as Shanks? And I'm gonna say probably. I mean, I don't know if he's exactly as strong as Shanks, as Shanks has been doing some incredible stuff, but I'm going to assume that he has to be in that Shanks tier of power. And speaking of that, he also has a sword similar to Shanks, which is also similar to what Roger had. Now, I don't know if Shanks' sword comes from the Holy Knights or the Garling family, or he got it from Roger or one of Roger's victims. And also about Shanks' sword, which is named Griffin, but Roger's sword by the name of Ace is one of the 12 supreme grade blades in the world. It's up there with Venus's Shodai Kitetsu, Mihawk's Yoru, Fujitori's Yakuza blade, and Whitebeard's staff blade thing that has a long name that I don't remember. Now, while it's not confirmed that Shanks' Griffin sword is a supreme grade sword, but does that mean that Shamrock's sword here is also one of the supreme grade blades? And I'm gonna say probably. I mean, he's a holy knight. Now he's the leader. He's the son of Garling. I'm assuming he has to have that amount of hardware, right? Same thing with Garling. Garling himself has a sword aesthetically similar to Shanks and Shamrock here. So I'm assuming that Garling probably has a supreme grade blade as well. And also another thing about this whole trinity here, I think that probably has to go into what's going on with Shamrock's name. You know, like the Shamrock plant, it has the 3 petals. The 3 petals are probably supposed to represent Garling, Shamrock, and Shanks. So what does this ultimately mean? Well, I think it just means that, Shanks is a celestial dragon like we've been talking about for a long time, and this is going to be a big bombshell on Luffy Although I don't think Luffy is really going to care that much. He more so cares about one's character rather than their title or where they come from, of course. But it still is going to be a shock to him and everyone else. And I also think this is going to be more ammunition for Blackbeard to go after Shanks and possibly even kill him. Because, you know, the D's are the natural enemy of the Celestial Dragons. And I think that also shows why Shanks and Blackbeard always had beef, even from when they initially first met each other. So if Shanks is a Celestial Dragon and the son of Garling and brother of Shamrock, then why isn't he living in Mary Joie and currently a Holy Knight? Well, it's because what we know of Shanks' origin. He was found in a chest by the Roger Pirates back at that God Valley incident we've been talking about. And we also know that the chests were like prizes for the hunting game that was taking place there with the Holy Knights and the Celestial Dragons. So it's like, why was Shanks put into that chest? Well, we don't really know much yet. It could have been an accident, or it could have been Garling purposely doing that, like putting up his son as a prize. Like, hey, I don't really need this one because I have Shamrock, because I'm assuming that they're like twins. They were both born at the same time and identical. And maybe something happened, or Garling saw that, oh, Shanks is defective, or I don't know what his reasoning could be. He's a Celestial Dragon. They probably think things like that. He's like, I'd rather just raise Shamrock and just give this defective one away or whatever. I don't know. Or it's even possible that Shanks might not be like the direct twin of Shamrock. It's possible they come from different mothers, but they still look identical. I don't know if that's possible, but we're talking about One Piece here. And because of that, maybe that's why Garling gave him away. So many unanswered questions with Shanks' origin, of course, but you know, as time goes on, especially now that Shamrock has been revealed, we'll get more answers. Now, aside from that whole thing, does this mean that Shanks and Shamrock are going to fight? Well, it's very likely that will happen as well. At least they'll clash or something. Now, other than that, I just want to close this off with another crazy theory that I've had for a while now, and it's that I think Mihawk was also a Holy Knight, and he trained with Shamrock here. And once Mihawk left the Holy Knights for whatever reason, came the Marine Hunter as he was allegedly once known, he eventually met up with Shanks and was like, hey, I know your brother Shamrock, let's be boys. And yeah, I mean, it has to be something like that, right? Why else would Mihawk be called the world's strongest swordsman? Given what we know now, and especially all the other strong swordsmen that have been introduced in the series, especially Shamrock, it's like, why is Mihawk stronger than all of these guys? Hey, but real quick, guys, you should check out Gamer Supps in case you haven't already. They're a great energy supplement that can help you with gaming, studying, or anything that really you want to do. They come in caffeine and caffeine free, and they also have nootropics in it, like L-theanine, L-tyrosine, and choline L-bitartrate. So it's not just, you know, regular caffeine. It makes you really feel good and focused. If you're looking for a tub to buy, check out the new flavor Nuclear Bombsicle by Casio. It tastes just like a bombsicle. This is already one of my favorite flavors. They also have these awesome sus bars, which are only 100 calories and only has 1 gram of sugar and 8 grams of protein. My favorite flavor is the chocolate. I cannot get enough of these things. They also have gamer tea in both caffeinated and non-caffeinated. I personally really like the caffeine-free sleepy time with theanine. You can also get some of these awesome gamer soups, which I absolutely love. So guys, check the link in the description and make sure to use code BIGZ for 10% off. Thanks, guys. So let me know what you think about Shamrock in the comments, guys. And if you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.